covering a global market sell-off this morning. This is underway right now. The Dow Jones Industrial is now down 1,250 points. That is a loss of more than 3%.
And the stock market is opening in the red this morning after a rough finish last week on a weaker than expected jobs report. The Dow's down more than 1,000 points as that global sell-off intensifies.
We woke up this morning to news about volatile markets overseas, including a giant drop in Japan, and it got us kind of worried.
A black day for the Nikkei. Japan's benchmark stock index fell by a record 4,451 points to mark a more than 12% loss on Monday.
History in the making.
Of what some would call history in the making.
Don't say that. We have never been down 1,000 points ever, not even intraday on the NASDAQ.
Is that true?
That is true.
Okay. Down 6% right from the get-go. This is heavy big tech. Here we go. Look at them go down. Microsoft is down $20. That's 5%. Alphabet, 5%. Meta, 6%. Amazon, 6%. Apple, 9% down.
Germany taking the worst hit, down almost 3.5%. Asia, we had read across the board. And remember what we saw in Japan. Japan's now in a bear market. Japan lost 12%, over 12% actually, at the close.
It's getting ugly real fast out there. So, I mean, look, right now, the volatility index or the fear gauge, which is a measure of how afraid investors are right now, it's at a 65. And just to put that in perspective, if we go back to March of 2020, when the pandemic was full swing and people were locked up in their houses, it was 53. It's 65 right now. You go back to March of 2009 when we had the banking crisis, it was 44. We're at a 65 right now. Investors are incredibly scared. And I have to tell you, this cannot just be due to Friday's payroll report, because on Friday, the market was down about 2%. So there's more going on than just that. I think the other two issues are, number one, Warren Buffett unloaded half of his Apple position. That's a guy who's buy and hold forever. All of a sudden, he's, maybe he doesn't have a high conviction on Apple going forward. And then obviously the increasing probability of a full-scale war in the Middle East. You put those three things together, and it's an ugly situation in the markets today.
Sometimes you have to panic. Sometimes the theater is on fire. I mean, this whole notion in life, you don't panic. Sometimes in life, you do have to panic.
Even people who do not believe in Jesus Christ and the end times know something is very wrong with our world. As of late, I have been hearing from so many people that 2024 will be the year when America goes over the edge. We are on the verge of World War III. Our financial system is teetering on the brink of disaster. Homelessness is rising at the fastest pace ever recorded. Drug and alcohol abuse are off the charts. Lawlessness runs unchecked. Food banks are facing unprecedented demand for their services. And it's not just happening in the United States, it's happening all over the world. I believe that 2024 will be the most chaotic election year in the entire history of our nation, with many saying the U.S. is heading for civil war. All of this is happening in the global framework of wars and rumors of wars, pestilence, famine, and natural disasters, all of which are happening more frequently and more intensely. A perfect storm is raging all around us. Billions of people have become deeply concerned about what the immediate future will look like. The global agenda for a one-world government, a one-world financial system, and a one-world religion are already set in place. All the world needs now is for the Antichrist to make his appearance onto the world stage. All of this can only point to one fact. The rapture, the 7-year tribulation, and the Antichrist are just a heartbeat away from becoming reality. The Bible warns of the times we are living in, and God, through his grace and mercy, has showed us the end from the beginning. And now his watchmen are blowing the trumpet. Jesus is coming. For the believer, no more pain or sorrow, but for the unbeliever, there will be misery and grief. Buckle up and hold on tight. By looking at world events, it seems probable 2024 will be the year when everything converges, and with it the rapture, the 7-year tribulation, and the revealing of the Antichrist. Luke 21:36. Watch therefore, and pray always, that you may be counted worthy to escape all these things that will come to pass, and to stand before the Son
So
of Man.
keep your head up. Jesus is coming back. Jesus is coming back. No, don't you give